Hi everyone, the Mature Simmer here. So, I've been walking around the farm a little bit and doing a bit of math, and just realized I've got to do something with the greenhouse situation, or I'm going to just be having a problem for certain. So I'm going to move this out of the way because I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to go with what I'm thinking. But I think that's going to work. So I want to get myself clear. Oh, that's right. I want to go ahead and get the water cart moved, the water tanker moved. And we're kind of at the point where I've determined the medium greenhouse is just too small. And I also think one greenhouse is just too small. So I think at this point I need more, but I don't want to create a situation where I can't use this space for the sugarcane, as I talked about. So I don't want to suddenly fill this space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out, and now with that wall gone, I think I've got some options. So I've stopped production on the greenhouse pretty much right after a case came out. So I'm going to waste a little bit. I can't really get water out. And it's not as if water is not something I can just go get from the river. So it's just work. So we're going to head out here. And I'm going to sell this greenhouse. And then I'm going to turn right back around. And I'm going to buy some large greenhouses, but I want to make sure like I'm not creating a problem. So yeah, I'm good there. So I should be able to get 3 in here without too much difficulty. And as far as accessing them to unload them, I am going to have to obviously, go in between in very thin columns, but, there's enough room there. Should be okay. And, we did push this a bit, but I think nothing too strange happened. I don't think the cliff is going to collapse or anything like that. So we're good there. And now I just need to get all these things going. But what drove the decision, just so you're clear, is just the constant need for greenhouse material. I've got these 18,000 liters of tomatoes, but then I need strawberries, I need tomatoes, I need strawberries. And I need big quantities of these things. And at this point, I think I've been running the that greenhouse for 4 or 5 months, and the cycle is like, I think 672 or something cycles per month. So it's just not generating that much. Well, how did that deer get in there? At least he left, so that's a good thing. So let me take a look at this, because with the large greenhouses, at least we know we've kind of got the largest thing we can. So we've gone from 672 on tomatoes to 1563. So it's not 6 times the production, but about 2.5 times. So and because this is a grass field and so forth, like I can now easily run water over to these things. Well, except maybe here, but I could probably do things a little differently, but that'll work. I mean, I know the water location's pretty large, but I can get this going. And so right now, I'm going to focus them on which is the next thing I need. I think that will work. So what I mean is, I need tomatoes, and even though I need strawberries in the future, I think at this point it would be best to just have them all producing tomatoes and get all the tomatoes I need. And then in the future, if I need to, I can go ahead and have different greenhouses doing different things, but I'm not sure that that's necessary. I think it's probably better to just have them all growing one crop. I'm not storing anything and piling pallets up at the side of the yard and again taking up space that I don't have. Because what I'm starting to realize as these orders get bigger, again, I don't want a field in essence out of production because I've got sugarcane sitting on it, which is what I have going on there. I could plant a portion of that field, for example, but as the demands go up, which certainly seems to be what is happening with my VIPs, what I don't want is to be limited by poor use of my available space. So I'm going to go ahead and work with my new greenhouses, get them all producing some tomatoes, because as you may have seen on the trailer, I've got 3,500 tomatoes is all I have at this point, and I need 18,000. And I think by the time the wheat was done at the pace I was going, I maybe was going to have 6,000 or 7,000, and then I'd just be sitting and waiting for tomatoes. So seems kind of foolish, especially since the VIPs have given me visibility ahead of time to know that they're going to want, nearly 100,000 liters of strawberries a couple times. So maybe there's going to be a local strawberry festival or something. Not sure why they're needing that many strawberries, but they're paying me for it, so I honestly don't care. I'm just doing my part in the supply chain. So I'm going to get this supply chain cranking out tomatoes in now 3 large greenhouses versus 1 medium, and this again is the wonderful flexibility that this VIP process has given me in just the large amount of cash that it's generating. And once again, I've not forgotten the fact that, hey, I sold a cow barn that my uncle had here that made a good amount. Yes, it did. But right now, if I hadn't sold the cow barn, I'm still operating on funds that I would have generated because I had 500,000, and I mean these greenhouses were 10,000 a piece, plus a little bit for the land. So I'm going to get this done. I'm probably going to, I'll take a look. It actually doesn't look too bad. I might not need to touch up much of the ground around here, but if I feel like I want to do a little bit of landscaping, I might do that to kind of make everything look good. But I will see you in a bit when we continue on. So it's spring here on the farm. We've got our greenhouses running. You can start to see they're already starting to output tomatoes after running through the night. So I filled them all up. So just for information, if you're less aware of how these operate, these take 20,000 liters of water each. So I've got 60,000 liters of water across all of these. And again, they're producing I think 1,500 plus liters of output or cycles per month, which is per day here. And obviously we put these in yesterday afternoon, so I would expect by the time today is done, which I don't know that we'll see specifically, that I'd have 3 pallets out here. So, but again, I'm trying to fill the time while my wheat grows, while my tomatoes grow. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get some sheep. Now, of my choices for animal transport, because there's not really a reason to pay to have somebody deliver some when I can grab some. It's not as if I can have hundreds and hundreds of animals. I think this Fleagle is my best option. You know, it carries sheep, obviously, which is the first thing I need, where these two are just horse trailers. And this one requires a truck, which I don't have. So I can use this with my tractors. So while this has a much larger capacity, and I could get done probably what I'm looking to get done, which is get about half of the animals filled up in one trip. I'm going to have to take 3 here, but obviously cost-wise, not only would I have to deal with renting at this level, but I'd have to rent something to haul it with. So if I lease this for 1,275 pounds, I'm going to use my Massey, which is my biggest tractor, to go ahead and go get that, and we're going to go and get ourselves some sheep. Picked up the trailer and heading out to the animal dealer at this point. If you recall, maybe you haven't noticed, because we haven't obviously dealt with getting any animals. Specifically, we had everything delivered up till now. We need to go down near where we've been doing a lot of our drop-offs with the market. The animal dealer is there too, and in some cases, like the grass and the hay, we've been delivering it to the animal dealer, but that may not have been as obvious because we weren't physically getting animals. So yeah, I continue to be pretty excited about how this works with the VIP orders, because it really keeps me focused on a lot of different things. And in my background before I came over here and started running the farm that my uncle made me the offer to was working in a business setting, and so I just feel like really this gives me both pieces. I get to enjoy and control what I do by running my own enterprise here on the farm, but I also get to then take advantage of some of the business skills in trying to plan out, what I need to do with these VIPs, and I think that helps in general. Just a win-win for everybody, in that, I get the kind of things I need, or the things that get me excited. It's a little tight to go ahead and do this, so I may next time come in here and back in kind of like this, but I'm thinking this should work. We'll see. There we go. Alright, so as with most animals, it looks like with sheep, I can buy either brand new baby lambs, or I can buy sheep that have reached puberty and are then able to reproduce immediately. And obviously there's a premium, but given that I'm not doing anything other than wool, which I believe they can start producing right away as lambs, I don't know that there's a reason to do anything other than lambs. And we've got 4 types here, so just to have some variety, I think I'll get a little bit of each. So we'll do 3 of these. We'll do 3 of these. So basically they have a black face. The Swiss Black Brown Mountain. Do 3 of these. And because we can haul 13, the Black Welsh, which basically has black wool as well, I'm going to go ahead and do 4 of those. as well as well, I guess they both have darker faces, so it's brown wool, black wool. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then at this point, I don't know that I can see. Let's see if I unfold the livestock trailer. I can see in there a little bit, but obviously we loaded the black ones on last, so they're in the back, kind of facing everybody, and hopefully they'll have a pretty good ride back. This may be all I do. I don't know. I probably will get at least one more load. I just don't know that I necessarily need 3 loads, because I'll have 26 then. It's going to give me enough to kind of get going. I just don't know the production rate. So to get 21,000 liters of wool, once again, I'm just not sure if that's going to take me a long time, but I think at a minimum what I can do, because it's $12.75, so 13 sheep would have cost me $50 to have the dealer deliver each of them. So basically this is $650. So if I do one more trailer, I'm in essence covering what my rental fee is and the savings I have for having the animal dealer deliver them. So it basically is a wash. I'll have saved $1,300 in fees on 26 lambs, and I'm paying $12.75 to rent this. So it works out well, and then at least I feel I've gotten my money's worth. And if somehow I determine the production is way too low and I just want to maximize everything, I'll just have to rent the trailer one more time, and I'll understand what the situation is. I mean, the other problem I've got is I don't know what lambs eat. I assume it's some type of grain. I'm hoping I have something I can feed them. Otherwise, they'll be a little hungry for a while until things grow, which is also why I don't want to just have 65 lambs sitting around, maybe doing nothing. But what I might find is, because with 26 lambs, I need less than 1,000 liters of wool per lamb. Now, in what I know, wool's pretty light, so I'm thinking if you shear a full lamb, I don't know how many liters you get off that lamb. It might not be much. So, it might take a long time without having a full barn, but this is part of my learning process as I just do different things here on the farm to try to understand how things operate. So that's the decision I've made, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll drop these off, and then probably when I go get the other load, and at that point I'll probably get maybe 4 of something different, because otherwise we're going to have 8 of these particular ones and so forth. Otherwise, this way, and only 6 of the others. If I go the other route, we should then have, I think I dropped them off here. We should then have, 2 groups of 7, 2 groups of 6. So it's a little bit better. So let's see, am I close enough? Yep. All right. So we will move them to the husbandry. Select. Whoops. I always forget when you do that, it defaults to wanting to put them in the trailer. So you've got to go the other way. Alright, well, I hear them. Can't see them yet because they're behind me, but as we circle around, there we go. So we have a nice mix, and because I'm not selling them off like pigs and so forth, we should maintain a decent mix. So I think as far as, you know, having a type that does the same thing, because again, with the cows, like for what can go in a cow pen, there's 4 varieties, but 2 of them don't produce any milk. So if I'm doing things to produce milk versus producing beef, I need you know, the cow producing ones, so I only have 2 choices there. But with sheep, you know, I can go with several varieties and just enjoy the variation that I get to see as I enjoy them every day on the farm. So I'm going to go get the next load of 13. I'll get the trailer back and we'll take a look at where we're at, and you know, hopefully in the time I go, although, well, probably until I feed them, they're not going to produce any wool. I was going to say, maybe in the time I go we'll have some wool, but that probably won't happen. Although, maybe they're 100% healthy because I just bought them. So, they're probably going to start getting hungry pretty fast, though, so I'm sure by the time I get back, since it'll have gone past 10 o'clock, I might have an issue. But anyway, let me get this done, and we'll talk when I get back. So this is easy. Sheep eat grass and hay, so that I can do easily enough. This particular bin also doesn't require water, so they'll be getting water through the public water system, which means I'll use more water on the farm, and there's a bill for that, but there's nothing I need to do. So let me get these guys some grass. Somehow I didn't actually, I think, get 13 sheep the first time. So somehow I only have 25. But either way, it was not worth making a trip to get one more. So we've got 25, which will work because we can only have 65 in total. And you know, once they start reproducing, you know, we'll get to 50, and then we're not going to have enough for another batch anyway. So that's where we're at with that, and we'll just see how things go. But I'm going to get them some grass. I don't know how much grass. I guess I'll just pick up an entire trailer of grass, and we'll see what that looks like as far as feeding them. It might be too much, and I then may have a trailer of grass, or it might not be enough. You know, maybe very little. I don't know. Again, it's sized for 20 or for 65, so right now I think I'll be fine with having only 25 in there. You know, whatever I grab and give them, I'm sure they will not fully consume. But I am getting to the point where I need to get the cows some more feed. They've already consumed half of what I gave them. So we have 80 cattle now, 80 cows in here. And the thing I guess I'm unclear about is the older ones that are now pretty much as old. Oops, didn't realize. I forgot I had a fill limiter. So let me fix all that. So the older ones, I thought I had fixed all that. Obviously I had not. Let's see. So if I lower this down, alright, let's see if it goes now. There we go. It's finally picking things up again. So, worst case, like if it doesn't take a lot of this, although I'm imagining because there's 65 head possible in there, the capacity on this thing is probably significant. And so, I can't imagine 35,000 is going to fill it, but if somehow it did, I can always do something else with this, like I can just hold on to it, so forth, and then use it as necessary. I mean, I can always leave it in the trailer, but I don't think we're going to have that problem. But this certainly makes it easier, because I was worried they're going to need some sort of grain, and I'm not sure I've got a lot of grain sitting around. I think I have some, but so we'll see. I'm not sure this will get me full before I get to the end, but obviously we'll take a look here. Yeah, the thing I don't recall is the full capacity of the cow barn. I think it might be 80 heads, so I think we might finally be there. But what I was starting to say is the older cow's value is lower, so instead of being 1,500, it's at 1125 now. And that may be because the physical animal is just worth less, because it's old, and kind of like, well, if you're selling it, it's closer to death and so forth. I don't recall. We'll see if they die or not, or if I'm going to have cattle eventually that are 50 years old. But, if we get that far, if I'm here on the farm that long. But, we'll see how everything goes, because at this point, they're 54 months, so they're 4.5 years, which is probably not that old. Again, as I said, I came from the business world. I'm not a farmer by trade, so I don't know the lifespan of a cow. But yeah, I hear ya. But I'm just happy that these are easy. Now, the one thing I was certainly thinking about as I came back is if somehow the VIPs want something with pigs, I'm not sure I'm going to go ahead and do that. That may be one of those tipping points where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to skip this round of orders, and we'll go on to the next ones or something. But I'm hoping we don't see that, and that will make it easier. But certainly, just being able to feed them some grain. Now the question is, I do just dump out the back, so I should be able to just pull in here. So yeah, this placement worked out pretty nicely. So you guys can eat. I know it's been a couple hours, so shouldn't be wow, that's it, huh? 11,500. Well, I guess that's good to know. That probably means they don't eat a lot. But I'm going to leave this here, because I don't really have a need to do anything else with it. And I assume, once again, until they get fully healthy, we're not going to see any productivity. So I believe they have to be up there. That should happen before the end of the day, but it may not. But at this point, let's just take a quick look. Tomatoes are already at 100, 58, 43. Oh wow, but it looks like we've already got a second pallet out here. Now again, it's, the first pallet may have happened in the middle of the night. So yeah, I've got 3,000 liters of tomatoes already, which is as much as I've got on the trailer from the one greenhouse I had operating for a long time, since we finished the lettuce, which I think was back at level 6. So definitely in good shape. The question then becomes, strawberries and then tomatoes. Do I somehow have some doing tomatoes before I finish the strawberries? But I just don't know that it makes any sense to just not get the 90,000 liters of strawberries, then start the greenhouses growing the 41,000 liters of tomatoes and so forth. So at this point, now I do think I'm kind of at a point where I'm waiting. Obviously, if I get the productivity I'm hoping, maybe I can fill the tomato order before wheat harvest. But I'm waiting at this point for wheat and or tomatoes to be ready, because at this point we've got ourselves some sheep. We're starting on the wool, and we've made the change to increase our greenhouses. So I think we're in great shape. Oh, and I did top off the tractor with some fuel since we were near town, so the Massey is good to go. Since that's my workhorse on the farm, I want to make sure that as we get into harvest and other things that I don't have a problem. But spring has dawned and we've got a lot going on, and I will see you next time.